This week's slice of the Bake Off to enjoy again in 15 minutes. First on BBC One, it's time to hear from you.
The new comedy that split not just sides, but also opinion. And the rock guitarist's channel takeover that struck the right chord. All that and more coming up in the show that lets you have your say on the week's TV. Welcome to Your Points of View. First up this week, the brooding Sunday night drama set in 18th century Cornwall. Last Sunday's episode of Poldark was nothing if not busy. We had Demelza going into labour at sea and Ross sizing up a tempting but potentially dangerous offer from a smuggler.
So here's the thing. We've run out of navigable inlets.
And I possess the only one for miles.
The first series of this Poldark adaptation scooped the Audience Award at the BAFTAs earlier this year. And so far there has been plenty of praise for season 2 and its actors.
I'm hooked. The scenes between the leads, Aidan Turner and Eleanor Tomlinson, are incredible.
Poldark gets better every week. Aidan Turner is magnificent. And Jack Farver must be brilliant because I want to kill him.
Steady on. Some, however, feel this series has hit a rocky patch with at least one of you switching off after episode 1.
Has the BBC taken leave of its senses?
Not that I'm aware of. Carry on, Elizabeth.
The travesty they are calling Poldark bears little if any resemblance to the books and the previous wonderful series. The content is so far from accurate, I have cancelled my recording.
While for others, it's all become just a bit too gloomy.
So much of it is filmed in almost complete darkness. You can't see the actors' faces. Sometimes it's difficult even to make out what room they're in. Is this all part of the BBC cutting down?
Don't give them any ideas, Beryl, or they'll all be at it. That's better. Filming's underway now for Poldark's third series. Maybe they'll have found more florins for their meter. The pressures and difficult decisions faced daily by the staff of Britain's biggest ambulance service were brought into sharp focus in the first of a new 3-part series on BBC One this week. Following the call handlers and crews of the London Ambulance Service, Tuesday night's Ambulance saw drastic action having to be taken when a spike in 999 calls outstripped the number of ambulances available.
We've got quite a big portion of London that's not got any cover at the moment.
The patient has been on the floor for 50 minutes waiting for an ambulance to become available.
You were full of admiration for not only the insight into the service, but also the men and women responsible for saving lives.
What a tremendous programme, not over-dramatised because the drama was all on screen. One of the most powerful documentaries I have watched. Well done, BBC.
Showing how important this service is and shouldn't be abused. Thank you, Auntie Beeb. Well done to all involved.
Just wanted to say how great the programme is, and shows how much the NHS is struggling to cope with more and more trauma. Thank you to all who are taking part in this programme for your dedication and hard work.
Ambulance continues on Tuesday night. Now, if my own experience is anything to go by, 15 famous faces were desperately trying to deal with their fear as they waited in the wings on BBC One last weekend. Friday and Saturday night saw Strictly Come Dancing's live shows kick off in style as this year's crop of celebrities took to the floor aiming to impress. Top marks went to an emotional performance from model Daisy Lowe and her partner Aliash.
You are dazzling, Daisy, I have to say, because this had the radiant quality of old-school glamour and high-class fashion combined.
You were dazzled by the dancing and have perhaps found a favourite or two already.
The sparkle is back. Leslie and Anton's waltz, beautiful. Judge Rinder, glorious moves.
Love the old razzle-dazzle, the glitter and the glam. It's good to see all the celebrities can dance to some degree. Even Ed Balls was a bit nifty.
Every year the cynics say Z-list celebs will destroy Strictly. However, once the music starts, lights come on, and the glittering costumes are on our screens, it is magic.
Z-list, Diane, please. But the shows didn't waltz off completely free of criticism. Some pointed out the Friday show's 9 p.m. start time meant younger Strictly fans were tucked up well before the tuxes were donned.
They should air it earlier as it is a family show. It would be much easier for families if it was shown earlier.
Loved it, but please put it on earlier so children can watch. #family viewing.
While others feel it's high time the studio audience learned to simmer down.
I sit with the controls in my hand so I can mute the screams. Try the programme with normal applause, please.
Well, to find out how fans of Frantic Footwork scored the launch of this year's live shows, Neil Strawson headed to Edinburgh.
Ladies, I picked you out for your vintage clothing. You look great. Are you Strictly fans and why?
I just think it's brilliant that there's a programme on TV that shows that you can start dancing at any age from scratch.
It's great to watch. It's Saturday night family viewing. It makes me want to dance.
My boyfriend won't watch it, so I have to sort of covertly watch it when he's not in.
It feels like a nice big autumnal hug when it comes back on again. It's like, oh, Strictly's back on again.
What did you make of the show last week?
I thought it was exceptional this time.
It definitely does feel fresh. It feels like there's a real energy to it.
I think that the standard of dancing's better, and the standard of personality and sassiness.
The gymnast girl,
Claudia.
that back
Claudia.
flip that she did
Heels.
was pretty special. And that was something else, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What would you change?
In between the dances, I'm more interested in maybe seeing the rehearsal time and seeing the process that they've gone through.
I think there can be a bit too much talking sometimes, like there's quite a lot of times where I just fast forward.
Life is strange, isn't it, Ed?
I think Len is as grumpy as ever, and I feel like Len is being a bit harsh.
Don't get on my wick early on.
Come on, who's your favourite?
I love Will Young.
Yeah.
You know, the tango was pretty amazing.
Judge Rinder was outstanding.
Fabulous.
Came out dancing like Voldemort.
And the verdict here in Edinburgh?
Oh, that gave me a dancing pang. Good luck to this year's contestants. As Strictly sambered onto BBC One last weekend, a star famed for energetic performances was taking over BBC 4's schedules.
Repeat, do not adjust your set. Normal service will not be resumed. Welcome to the permanent night shift.
Keith Richards' last weekend saw the Rolling Stones guitarist take the helm of the channel, serving up 3 nights of personally picked dusk-to-dawn programming. An eclectic mix of films and documentaries was interspersed with an intimate interview with him.
How important is it to be honest with yourself?
Oh, I never go there. No, I'm most brutal on myself, actually.
With parts of the schedule not revealed in advance, there were some surprises in store. But the whole experience left you with a definite feeling you could get satisfaction.
What a stroke of genius. I texted everyone I could think of to watch this. Keith's smoky laugh, bicycle thieves, and Tex Avery cartoons. How can you go wrong? Makes my TV licence happy.
I really enjoyed the Keith Richards weekend on BBC 4. It was funny, inventive and witty. Just everything great TV should be. And Keith Richards just might be this country's best philosopher.
Fantastically quirky and imaginative. Great TV.
And you were quick to suggest those in charge of the BBC's channels could learn a thing or two from the Rockers range of programming.
Why not follow Richard's example and start entertaining us again with intelligent, brave and inventive scheduling? It's crazy a guitarist, no matter how great, can put seasoned BBC schedulers to shame.
Opening its doors to television cameras on Monday night was Man Management, a talent agency home to the likes of Greg Wallace and Miranda Hart. The new spoof documentary from the Australian-born impressionist Morgana Robinson sees the comedienne play the agency's entire celebrity roster, including EastEnders Danny Dyer, who this week was eager to diversify into children's literature.
You stink. When was the last time you had a bath?
It's been weeks. The main character, Danny the Bear, I want to play the geezer when they make a movie out of it.
Why is it all damp?
Tears, Finn. I put my heart and soul into it.
The agency tickled the funny bone of some.
set the bar for impressions. Funny, sad, awkward and quite brilliant.
I think the show worked really well. I really liked Miranda Hart. I think the voice and the mannerisms were spot on.
Well, hello there! What a veritable thrill it is to see you again, my what I call...
But it would be fair to say the show did not make a favourable impression on all of you.
This was the unfunniest, worst impersonator my husband and I have ever watched. I just wasted 30 minutes of my life with my husband saying, "This must get better," every few minutes. It didn't.
What a load of tripe.
Perhaps not for everyone then. As was the case with BBC One and BBC Two, heading off to the Oki last weekend for more than 13 hours of coverage from the inaugural Champions League of Darts. The broadcast signalled a new era for the sport on the BBC after 38 years of showing the British Darts Organisation's World Championships. The two-day tournament saw the cream of the Professional Darts Corporation circuit compete, with Phil Taylor crowned champion.
1-1-4 for the title. Double 17. Oh yes!
Plenty of you took aim at the blanket broadcast.
The poor coverage of sports on the BBC is disgraceful, but to make matters worse, hours have been devoted to a game of darts.
Is the BBC so short of funds the best it can present on BBC Two at prime time on Saturday evening is darts? The number of pubs in the country is in decline, but keep this up and pub customers will soon increase. There's nothing worth watching on TV.
But for the darts fans amongst you, the coverage presented by Jason Mohammed really scored 180!
The coverage this weekend has been brilliant and a breath of fresh air. The interviews with players were good and the presenter was the right person for the job.
It was fantastic to see the World Championship of Darts on the BBC at the weekend. Both commentators and players made for an exciting and thrilling tournament.
And finally, it is faux pas time once again. After featuring Ripper Street's Union flag foul-up last week, military drama Argyle surfaced on the radars of the eagle-eyed amongst you this week. Episode 3 in the BBC One series saw Michelle Keegan's character staring at a stunning sunset in Mombasa. But, as you were quick to point out,
Mombasa is in East Africa, so to see a sunset over the Indian Ocean was somewhat surprising.
the sun does, of course, set in the west. Well done, Gordon, and everyone else who spotted the slip-up. Here's what the makers of Argyle had to say.
Argyle was filmed in South Africa rather than Mombasa. Though we endeavoured to reconstruct Kenya as authentically as possible, we were constrained by conditions on the ground. Argyle was a meticulously researched programme, and we hope this minor detail hasn't detracted from the audience's enjoyment of the drama.
Keep those clangers coming, please. We love them. And whether something you see on the BBC's television channels this week leaves you pleased or peeved, we want to hear about it. You can send us an email at pov@bbc.co.uk or get in touch through our website, bbc.co.uk/POV, where it's also a cinch to upload a video. It's easy to use social media to send us a message while you're watching too. You can tweet us at BBCPOV or let us have your thoughts via Facebook. Just search for BBC Points of View. We're back right here on BBC One at 2:45 next Sunday afternoon. So I'll see you then.